Alright, hey guys, it's Mr. B back with a Novid video series on the digestive system. I'm excited about doing this. This is the first of several series. We're going to trace the path of food all the way through the alimentary canal, which is the digestive system, kind of like Miss Frizzle style. Some of you know Miss Frizzle, the magic school bus. Remember, she used to get on this bus and she would drive it through a certain system. We're going to start right here, and we're going all the way through the alimentary canal, all the way to the toilet. So it is guaranteed to be a crappy lesson. But we're going to jump right into it. So let's go ahead and figure out, first of all, some basics. Basics on digestive system. Number one, you might say, where does digestion begin? If you got that question on a test, I have to tell you the answer is not here in the mouth. You might think, well, it happens right here. You put food right there, that's where it starts. That's not where it starts. Digestion begins in what the book calls the cephalic phase. Cephalic phase. That means right here in the mind. Because you guys know that your mouth waters sometimes, right? You don't have to be around food and your mouth waters. I can think of my favorite meal, chicken scallopini from Macaroni Grill. Oh, I just think about it and my mouth starts watering. I'm about 35 minutes away from the restaurant. I'm nowhere close to the food. But not only does my mouth water, but my stomach secretes what we're going to call the gastric five. The gastric five secretions, even if I'm not around food. So if you get the question on the test, where does digestion begin? Right there, cephalic phase. It begins in the mind. Doesn't begin in the mouth, doesn't begin in the stomach. Other thing you need to know on basics, how long is your alimentary canal? This gets kind of gross, but let's just say we stretched out your alimentary canal. By the way, the word aliment means food. If we stretched out your alimentary canal, excuse me, you would be looking at essentially 28 feet. 28 feet. That's the width of our classroom from one side to another. Your lips would be on one wall, your anus would be on the other wall. That's how long it is, about 28 feet. That's an average, so some are longer, some are shorter. By far, the longest section of the alimentary canal, we would call it the small intestines, which is divided into three parts that we're going to get to later. But we're talking about a really long system at 28 feet. You also have to know about the alimentary canal that there are 4 layers. 4 layers from the inside to the outside. So let's say you're on the magic school bus and you're going down the AC, the alimentary canal, and you did something you're not supposed to do. You rolled down the window and you stuck your hand out the window and you like high-five the wall. Alright, from the inside, which we call the lumen, to the outside, there's 4 layers. Throughout the whole thing, from your lips to your anus, there's 4 layers. I abbreviate these 4 layers MSMS. MSMS. The first inside layer, the layer you would be touching. If you were to open the window, you'd probably get in trouble if you did this, so don't do that because Miss Frizzle doesn't like that. And touch the inside wall. This is the mucosal layer. The mucosal layer. It secretes, take a wild guess what it secretes. It secretes mucus. Everybody knows that. Next one you have is called the submucosa. The submucosa. The submucosa it's going to have what I'm going to call the plumbing. Alright, the plumbing. The little tiny capillaries that innervate this whole area and they gather all the food particles that you digest and they spread it all over the place like arteries, little arterioles, little venules, which are part of your cardiovascular system. Your lymphatic capillaries also will be in there. Little lymph nodes will be in there. But the submucosa has the plumbing that will take nutrients away from the system once you break it down. Alright, next M. You should know the next M because you know that your intestines are pretty strong. Your stomach's strong. If you've ever vomited, you know your stomach's strong. It has to be strong because it has a layer that we call the muscle layer. It has a muscle layer that is quite strong. In fact, there are longitudinal muscles and there are circular muscles throughout the whole system. And your stomach adds a third. It's called oblique layers where they go diagonal. But the muscle layer is the next one. The last one is the serosa. The serosa. Those are the membranes that tie it into the rest of the body. The serosal membranes, we'll learn about them in chapter 1. Alright, so 4 layers in the alimentary canal. Those are your layers. Okay, let's go to our next basics. Let's go to the two types of digestion. Two types of digestion. There is what we call the mechanical digestion. This is easy. This is like what you do when you chew your food. You're supposed to take a bite of food, you're supposed to chew it 30 times. Some of you don't chew 30 times, you chew it like twice and you swallow it, but you're supposed to chew 30 times. But you're mechanically breaking down the food with your teeth and the grinding properties of your mechanical digestive structures. There's also a chemical digestion. The chemical digestion, I recommend you spend the most time on this because all the little enzymes that break down all the little things that you take in your body, those are part of your chemical enzymes. Those are part of your chemical digestion. So two types of digestion, the mechanical and the chemical digestion. All right, we got one more, I believe. So let's go ahead and go to the organs of versus what they call the accessory organs. Now, if you get in this frizzled school bus and you're going down the alimentary canal, anything that you could see directly, that would be an organ of the alimentary canal. This includes the stomach. This includes the intestines. This includes the esophagus. You could just literally, you could see it. You could see the actual organ. But you also have accessory organs to the digestive system. These are ones that are kind of attached to the side. So you don't actually see the organ, but you might see the sphincter or the opening to that organ. Like the liver, for example. You won't see the liver, but the liver is listed as an accessory organ to this whole system. You'll see the opening to the duct that leads up to the liver. It's called the common hepatic duct. There's also a pancreas that fits under here. There's also salivary glands that fit over here. But the organs of are things like the mouth, the esophagus, the stomach, the large intestines, the small intestines, and so forth. So keep those straight. Slightly confusing, but you can get those. Now, let's go to our next topic. Now that we've done the basics, let's go to the first place that we're going to take food in terms of digestion. You know the actual first place it starts in the mind, in the cephalic phase. But let's go ahead and go straight into the mouth. All right, so we're going to take a piece of food, we're going to pop it in the mouth, we're going to find out what happens in the mouth. Now there's two major things in the mouth you need to be ready for. And basically, one of those two things are these things that we call salivary glands. You got salivary glands. You got to be ready for three of them. You got three major salivary glands to be ready for. Now, the first salivary gland is called the sublingual. Excuse me. This tells you where it is. It tells you it is under the tongue. The lingua is the tongue. You've heard the word linguist before. The word lingua means tongue. So if I were going to touch it, I would go like right there. Right there. So we have the sublingual. The sublingual salivary gland, it secretes 100% mucus. Oh, got a little problem. 100% mucus. Alright, so I'm talking thick, stringy mucus. You know when you brush your teeth and you spit in the sink and you got the dangly down there, that's mucus, okay? Mucus is secreted throughout your alimentary canal. Now, we're going to look at the purpose of that mucus here in a second. But you also have the submandibular. The submandibular gland, it also tells you where it is. It says it is under the mandible. And it's actually right on the inside of the mandible, like right here. You have sublingual, and then you have submandibular, and they're paired. There's two of them. These two salivary glands, they have tubes that lead out and they open right on the floor of your mouth. I know it's kind of gross, but have you ever gleeked on accident? Or have you ever looked at your mouth like really up close? And there's two little openings right on the side of that little lingual frenulum, that membrane that holds your tongue to the floor of your mouth. Those are the openings to your submandibular gland. Now, not a lot of people know this anymore, but in 7th grade, I used to be the gleeking champion. They called me the spitting cobra back in 7th grade. I could like push my tongue in a certain way and shoo. And you may have done this if you're eating. It might have been embarrassing. You might have tried to eat something and then it squirts out. Well, that's natural. It's a submandibular secretion. Now, 50% of that secretion is mucus. Now, I know this mucus looks like it's spelled wrong. You say V, it should be M-U-C-O-U-S, but if it's the actual secretion, it's this. If it's the gland, it's O-U-S at the end. So 50% mucus and 50% what is called amylase. Amylase. Amylase is going to start carbohydrate digestion. Just put that in your mind, staple it in there. You have carbohydrates in your diet. Amylase starts the carbohydrate digestion. We'll get to that a little bit later. Now, according to your book, the most important of them is called the parotid gland. The parotid gland. And if I were going to push it on it, I'd like push right here. That's my parotid gland. It's about the size of a silver dollar. Believe it or not, the secretions from the parotid gland spill at your second molar. On the upper second molar, they come out right around there, which is amazing to me. And these secretions are 100% amylase. Alright, so let's go over a quick review. Locations of these. I'm going to name one. I want you to think about where I should touch on my face to find it, and I want you to touch that location there really quick. I'm going to be right with you in a second. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to submandibular. Where should I touch for submandibular? Go ahead, touch your face. Right there. Two of them. Submandibulars, two openings on either side of the frenulum. Now let's go parotid. If I'm going parotid, right there, two parotid glands right there. Silver dollar size, two openings at the second jaw. The last one is sublingual. That's right in the middle, right here, the sublingual gland. Now, remember on the test what they secrete. So let's make sure we understand why they secrete what they secrete. So, first of all, let's talk about the purpose of mucus. I want you to do something for me. I want you to go in your kitchen, pause the video, and I want you to grab some saltine crackers from the pantry, if you have them. I want you to see if you can do the 6 cracker saltine challenge. Now, I'm not going to do it because I won't be able to talk if I did this, but it's pretty simple to win this challenge. All you have to do is take 6 little saltine crackers, super light crackers, and I want you to be able to swallow them all in 1 minute. You get a full minute to eat 6 little crackers. Alright? So you pop them in your mouth, time yourself, chew them all up, swallow them, see if you can do it in less than a minute. Right? Easy. Right? I can't do it. I rarely find a student who can do it. We would do this in the classroom if we could, but you'd have to, and you'll find it gets so dry so quickly because you can't make enough mucus to bind all those loose particles. You can't bind them. You also can't lubricate the swallowing process, which is the purpose of mucus. It binds the loose particles and it lubricates the whole swallowing process. Now, I've never done the cinnamon challenge, excuse me, but I understand the cinnamon challenge is so dry, it's like the same thing, but it's more extreme. But try the 6 saltine cracker challenge, see if you can get that done and actually do that challenge and actually win it. I've never been able to win that challenge. Now, amylase is different. Amylase is the first enzyme that you need to know. And you'll know it's an enzyme because it ends in ASE. Okay, enzymes tend to end, almost always end in ASE, like lactase breaks down another substance called lactose. Now, if you are a carbohydrate, you're a long chain of sugars. And this is an example of a carbohydrate, a starch. A starch is a carbohydrate. Breads, and I hate to say it, but they're just long chains of sugars. This is why I can't have a lot, because I gain a lot of weight if I eat a lot of bread. Alright, long chains of sugar. Now, amylase sees a starch, which is a carbohydrate, and it goes, and it splits it. It splits it into, hopefully you can see this, disaccharides. It takes starches and it splits them into disaccharides. Now, this is the first step in carbohydrate digestion. You're going to get some disaccharides. Now, when we get further along in this, you're going to see words like fructose and glucose and all those, and those are examples of monosaccharides and disaccharides, but when you see the word saccharide, you should be thinking sugar that came from a carbohydrate. Alright, so here's what we have so far for this. Now you know some of the basics, and now we're going to end this introductory video to start off the alimentary canal on basics of digestion and the salivary glands. So this Mr. V checking out of the Novid 19 workshop series. Y'all have a great day.